So that was your portal I saw.
May I ask where?
Meat rack earlier.
Hmm. Whatever were you doing in such a dreadful place?
I was with Mom. Making sure she was okay.
Ah, I see. What does she do there, anyway?
Well, I don't know if she still does or not. She hasn't really told me if she... She works at the Rip and Chip, but she hasn't been working lately, so...
Ah, I see. Are you alright if I take off my coat?
That's fine. Oh, gosh. Woo!
Get comfortable. Nothing. What seems to be the matter, dear? To be honest, you were not the first one that I thought would be calling me for an appointment.
To be
Someone
honest,
mature?
I'm having a hard
I'm
time.
sorry I did take so long.
Oh,
By the way,
no,
I was
you're fine.
just finishing up with work.
Yeah, you're fine. It's just... I'm having a really hard time trusting a lot of people right now. Especially with how they've been acting around my mom.
Trust is an interesting word, as of late. Finding out who your friends are we? Is news starting to get around? Is that what happened? I haven't been spreading it. You have my word.
Yeah, It just... It seems like it doesn't matter where I go, and if she's with me, or if it's Aiden or Stellaria, I feel like people are watching me. Like, they already know who I am. And...
Ah, reputation. Or inheritance of a reputation. This meat rack, this is the sort of life that you were used to before this, yes?
yeah.
So I'm sure you understand. I'm sure you felt it yourself whenever someone wearing a suit comes on through those streets. Either you see a meal or you see a threat. I'm afraid you have that smell to you now, dear. The thing that they do not have. The ones that sneer at you, I'll be honest, are likely the most truthful. The ones who accept you without a second thought. Or perhaps the ones that are even being more supportive are the ones you should be looking out for. Now that you have something, you don't know how to use it, you don't know how to moderate it. They're going to hope that you give it out to anyone who makes you smile. No matter how that smile comes to be. May I sit next to you?
Yeah, that's fine. Oh boy.
Nothing. What? I can assume these things. And off of my initial guess, how close am I?
Pretty close.
Welcome to social class structure. In fact, in the last meeting I was just in, I had to convince and explain the nature between a corporate man and a small business, and what small businesses need to do to survive. With how we act now, with how your family acts, how you act and how it reflects on your family, everything is going to change. How often do you see a princess walking through the streets, laughing and playing with the peasants in your little stories? Is it the farm boy with dung smeared into his clothes, or is it the knight atop his gallant steed in his gleaming armor? Is the town crier or the majestic prince as she gives her tout? They often look at us angry. Angry that it's us and not them. You can't control where the money goes, but you are now reaping the benefits. You'll never have to worry about paying for food or a cab or new clothes. Now you simply ask. Chores, a thing of the past. You have staff for that, maids. The only chores, the only trivialities and inconveniences that you need to suffer now are the ones that you choose to take on yourself simply for the opportunity to break up the monotony, to have the fulfillment of doing something yourself. And the thing is, could we, and I'm including myself in this, yes, what's stopping me from just going down to any of these slums and just giving money to every single one of them? You get 1,000, you get 10,000, you get a house. I could rain gifts on them. I could do things for free. But what that does is it makes them weak. In fact, if anything, it hurts them. Because just because they have the money now does not mean that they know how to use it. And if they did not earn it themselves, they are likely to spend it on some frivolous thing that, and then just fall into the same problem. How many people do you know down there that drink or delve into some sort of vice?
Quite a few.
Perhaps it is a powder, perhaps it's a drink, perhaps it's flesh. Anything to make them feel something. Forget something. You might have one or two here and there that, yes, they understand what an investment is. But most, no. They'll take that gift you're well-meaning, throw it into the fire, and then ask for another. And the day that you catch wise, the day that you decide to pull the plug, to stop them from destroying themselves, they call you the villain. Because you're not helping them. You're not enabling them anymore. So here's what you do. What you have to do is take a good long look at the people around you. I want you to pick 3. 3 close friends. Ones you fully trust. And we're going to give 2 rules. Just 2. The first rule is, if they ask you for money, or something which money will be required for, gone. No matter what it is. No matter if it's for a surgery, a food, I forgot my wallet. No matter what it is, if it has to do with money, you refuse. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The second rule is, I imagine you and your friends have some mutuals. You get along with a friend of mine. Let them bring another friend now and then. But they have to follow the same rule. So you start with 3. 3 people who know of the no money thing. And as they start introducing you to more people that they trust, and those people eventually understand that you will not pay a cent for them, then they can start bringing people to your parties. Ones you should go for are people who have their own jobs. Self-sufficient. Stays out of trouble. I understand some of your friends are likely mixed up in a few of these gangs. Those are ones you should avoid, honestly. Nothing against them themselves. but they're, for the lack of a better term, co-workers.
Mm.
If their masters discover their ties to you, not hard to see how far that will go. So, someone with a job? And someone who's not an active criminal.
Right.
Am I being unfair?
No.
All right. As for your mother, when you hear someone speaking ill, insulting her, saying, what, she's sold out? Chasing the money? She's changed. Turned her back on us, that whole thing. Here's what you do. Oh, really? It's very easy. And, at the same time, very hard. Nothing. You don't say a word. You don't look at them. You don't acknowledge them. You pretend you're not even hearing it. And you walk away. Because your mother is now up with McKay. Alright, McKay, your mother, and you're kind of down here. These people want to get to your mother, want to bother your mother. And so what's going to happen is one of two things. Let's say someone says something poor about dear old mom, and you scamper on over and you get in a bit of a tussle. Mom now comes down, deals with it, scares them away, suits you back up. What that makes you look like is, oh, if she steps in, we get into a fight, she's just going to call her mom. Whether you call your mother or not, do you think she's the type who will come to the rescue?
100%.
So what's going to happen is your individuality now becomes defined by your mother being a mother. You'll no longer be you, you'll just be... Oh. That's a widow's daughter. Don't mind her. She doesn't do anything on her own. Or... let's say you win the fight. Whether it's an argument or a tussle. Damn these chairs. Whether it's an argument or a tussle. What happens then is news circles around. Ah, here's something you might know. Do you know the name Athena?
Yeah, she caused some destruction in Waterfront.
Do you know who her father is?
No.
Her father is an ex-councilman by the name of Sachi. Used to be in charge of the entire garden district, until more recently.
Huh.
Athena would get into a big fuss. Someone make her grumpy. And what happened is people would get hurt by Athena, and then anyone who did not like Sachi would throw that at him. Oh, how can you be a good councilman? How can you be a good businessman? How can you be a good leader if clearly you can't even lead your own children? If clearly you can't keep them out of trouble? Why is your daughter harassing the people? So let's change a few words here. Willow, why is Jasmine getting into fights? Why aren't you teaching your daughter how to act properly? Why aren't you being a good mother? Why aren't you keeping her out of trouble? Shouldn't she know better? Shouldn't you know better? Anything that you do reflects on your mother. Anything your mother does reflects on you. You're all in this together now. "15, you said, right? 15 years?
At least,
Getting pretty close.
sort of.
Close enough.
I was born in February. My body mutated. Grew up. And my brain is still trying to catch up. That's why sometimes I say and act differently than most people.
May I? You said your body is 15. But you are much, much younger, actually. This might feel a little strange.
Hello, Emily.
Hello?
We're going to do some necromancy bullshit.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay. Simply enough, Jonas is checking the quality of her soul. Essentially, he's like knocking on a melon. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any effects, or has there been anything that may have damaged Jasmine's soul?
No.
Okay.
It's all physical mutation.
From there. Okay. From there, we can kind of sort of, carbon date based on how powerful or other little things that magic people might know. February for sure.
Yes.
That's when this being came to exist.
February 16th.
Do you have any concerns of me using this information?
No.
Okay, I will continue. Thank you.
Very fresh. Not much radiation. Very pure.
What'd you just do to me?
Just looked a little. How do I put it? Looked under the hood.
Okay. Okay, well that confirms another suspicion I had. Got it. Okay.
Hmm. What's the suspicion, dear? You can just ask me things.
I was kind of thinking about the one question that you asked me, and I was thinking about it, and... Lich.
No dice.
Ah.
If that's the case, I think my phylactery would be way too obvious.
I guess that's fair. I'll keep thinking about
As
it.
well, liches have to keep a corporeal form. I, as you can see, do not.
No, that's fair.
Also, I'd be far uglier. Many more wrinkles. My teeth would be falling out. See, they're all still here.
I'll keep thinking.
If you come up with a good name for it, let me know.
Sure.
Thank you, dear. Do you want to know a secret? I don't know.
You don't know?
I know a few things that I'm similar to. I know what I'm not. I am not human anymore. I'm not a lich because I don't have a phylactery. I'm not a revenant because I'm not driven by hatred or revenge. I'm not a demon or an oni or any other words those people use. I'm just here. Lost a lot of weight, mind you, but
But you were alive at one point.
a long time ago. I think I explained my concept of time to you, yes?
Yeah.
How hard it is to keep track of. My parents were farmers. I remember we would grow wheat and any of the crop that did not grow, we would give the seeds to the chickens. I would travel with my father, bringing in whatever poultry, either aged, we didn't eat, or the extra eggs which didn't hatch. On and off, make a meager sum. But I wanted something different. Life is life, and I wanted to be something else. And what that needed was that I needed to be very different from what I was. To do what I want to do, I had to change. And now, here I am. Now I'm here, working away. Every coin, every credit I've made. Nothing freely given. Self-made man, you could say. Yes, I've had to do some things I did not like. Did a couple of things that I did. And a few things were just for fun. Except for that one guy. Fuck that one guy. That one I did out of spite. I've made a few people who appreciate my work. There's a few people who judge me before they even hear a word out of my mouth. There's a few people who judge me because of the words that came out of my mouth. Rightfully so. It's why I don't... How do I put hold back with my words? If it's easy for me to make someone angry over just a few choice words, then what that tells me is they probably can't handle the other things I can do. My work requires a certain level of maturity and understanding. And I'm sure you can speak with your... I'm sure you can speak with Marius and understand that there's much responsibility that comes from everything we say.
You were gonna say your dad, weren't you?
I think it's too early to say that yet.
Yeah.
What do you call him?
Honestly,
Mother's boyfriend? Mr. McKay?
No,
Marius?
I call him Malleus. I got
The
a
friendly
little
approach.
worried about calling him by his first name, though, considering the first impression I kind of gave him, but...
What was that?
I may...
Didn't mind your manners?
or may not have snuck into his place when he was on a date with my mom.
I'm sorry, his private estate.
Yeah. I still need to talk to him
Do
about
you
it,
use
but...
magic, dear?
No, I use technology. I have a cloaking mechanism in my helmet. But that didn't work because he was looking right at me a couple times.
I was about to say, you didn't sneak in.
I just don't
With
know
all,
why he didn't say
with
anything.
all respect, because he probably knew who you were. I'll be honest, dear, there's no way that a child's plaything, a young girl who grew up, or pardon me, wound up, in Zephyra's slums, with a couple of trinkets and some short self-learning, do you really think that got past the defenses of one of the most powerful, influential men in this realm?
At the time, I was trying to be hopeful.
You understand he has people for that. He was probably informed of your presence right away. And he was probably told, "Sir, there's a young girl in the house. Would you like us to do something?"
Well, technically, I wasn't alone.
Oh.
It started when Mom and I went on vacation, and she was acting funny. Asked her if she was okay, and she, said the F word. Fine. And...
Fine.
my friend
I
Sarah got concerned. Mom said that she was going to go somewhere. Didn't want Sarah to go. Sarah's technically, was her bodyguard. I begged Sarah up and down for her to let me go with her. She didn't want me to, but she ended up caving in. And I don't know what she was thinking, but when we knew that we were caught, or that attention was about to get drawn to us, she told me to run upstairs and hide, which I did. But then she shot him. And I don't know why she did. That's not... We weren't there to hurt him. We were there to make sure that Mom was okay. And...
May I?
Oh, arm, hello. Oh,
Not as warm as I'm sure that you would prefer, but
it's still appreciated.
4 months. 4 months. I couldn't imagine.
It was even worse
And
when...
thrust into all of this.
Yeah. And it was even
You're learning
worse
very
when
quickly.
Sarah threatened to kill herself in front of him, too. If he didn't let her go. I begged her not to do it, but I don't think she was listening to me. Found out later that the gun was empty, and that she was bluffing, but still.
I'm sorry, dear. I am sorry that much of this is simply not in your control. Before you start blaming yourself, let's recall a few things, shall we? I want you to tell me again. How old are you up here?
Only a couple months.
Have you gone to school?
Yeah, I do online schooling.
How far have you gotten?
Pretty far. I'm almost college level already.
Well done. You're human, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Any extra bits that you're not telling me?
No, I'm just plain human.
Just kind of fast forward.
Yeah.
All right. So, I want you to tell me how much would you expect from a young girl with no extravagant powers, not even out of school yet, who's still trying to find their way in the world? What would you expect from them? How are you supposed to make the right choice? How are you supposed to do the right thing when you barely even know what's going on? Here's my advice to you, dear. Be a child. Be young. Before you let this world tell you what you should be, think more about who you are now and what you want to do now. Have you been to the beach?
Mm-hmm.
Have you had a sleepover?
Very recently, actually.
Have you pummeled your friends with pillows?
Not yet, but I should do that one.
Have you painted a boy in makeup, whether he likes it or not, just to tell him how pretty he could be?
No, but I'm getting ideas.
Have you snuck out of the house just to see someone you like?
No, but I don't really... Love is weird.
My dear, it is. And you are far too young for it. If you find someone cute, let me know. We can fuss about them all night long, and I promise I won't tell anyone.
Okay.
Okay?
Alright.
Okay. What you need right now is to actually have a childhood. You've been told to grow up very fast, and you're trying to catch up as fast as you can. But how about you slow down for a year or two? Just a little bit. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
I think it's a fair offer. Now then, what's something you've always wanted to do? Have you ever been to the fields of Elysium?
Oh,
The Golden Plains? Elysium?
no.
It is... How do I put... It's a very good place. It's filled with kind-hearted people who help each other simply because they can. Where kindness is properly rewarded. Glimmering fields, golden leaves in the trees. Flowering. A shining sun, warm meals, and just that slight breeze. It's very peaceful. You should see the sunset. Would you like to? Anything else you want to talk about while we're here? I promise you'll be very distracted once we're there.
Not really.
All right. Just a moment here.
Am I the first person that Jonas has hugged? I feel like I am.
Now, where did I put that dusty old thing?
Oh, God.
Ah, yes. Somewhere around here. Ah, wonderful. Would you prefer a lightly wooded field? A small village? Perhaps a beach?
Field sounds nice.
A field? All right. Would you like to visit a farmer, likely baking apple pie? Or just somewhere nice and quiet? Perhaps a tall hill?
Somewhere nice and quiet.
And so it shall be. From the land of the living, I call upon thee.
Hi, Wicked. Thank you for the
golden
raid.
fields. I who shall trespass this threshold and cast it wide. A little off the mark, but it's good enough.
I just walk in?
Simple as. and I'll have you home by supper. But when is your curfew?
Honestly, that's a good question.
Say no more. I'll sneak you in. By the time they worry, I'll have you tucked in bed. I'll just drop you right on it.
All right.
Deal. Shall we?